Marriage and Divorce in Islam, Part 1. Today we shall discuss misconception about Quran Surah number 65, ayat number 4. Some people use this ayat to wrongly conclude that marriage of an immature girl is permissible in Islam, which is totally against the teachings of the Quran. So first we shall discuss the requirements for marriage in Islam, then we shall analyze this ayat. Marriage in Islam. Marriage in Islam is a social and a legal agreement between a man and a woman. It's called misakh, which means a solemn pledge or a strong promise. Marriage in Islam is also a spiritual and an emotional bond between two individuals. Marriage takes place only after the consent of both the bride and the bridegroom. Marriageable age in Islam. We deduce the marriageable age in Islam from this particular ayat and test the orphans in their abilities until they reach the marriageable age. Then, if you perceive in them sound judgment, release their property to them. Here we get a hint that marriageable age is an age wherein a person is able to handle his or her finances. Here it refers both to a male and a female. Let's understand this ayat further. Test the orphans in their abilities until they reach the marriageable age. What would you test them for? You would test if they are biologically mature, mentally and physically mature, mentally mature enough to decide what is good or bad for him or her without the help of a guardian. Now they are about to get married. They must be able to give consent on their own. They must be capable of self-management and management of their finances, able to fulfill the responsibility of a good husband and a wife, including the responsibility of motherhood and fatherhood. It is very normal that we train our kids or orphans who are under us for their future. There is definitely some criteria which should be met before a man or a woman gets married. So according to these points, the marriage is possible only for adults. The age may range from 18 to 24. It's not a kid's play. Now let's try to understand the misconception regarding Quran, Surah number 65, ayat number 4. This ayat speaks about waiting period at the time of divorce. There is no waiting period if husband and wife have not cohabited. Waiting period is applicable when marriage is consummated. We shall discuss the procedure for divorce in another video. It is mentioned in Surah Baqarah, Surah number 2, ayat number 228 that waiting period for divorced women is 3 monthly menstrual cycles. What about those women who have reached menopause? Quran Surah number 65, ayat number 4 says, and those who no longer expect menstruation among your women, if you doubt, then their waiting period is 3 months. And for those who have not menstruated. And those who are pregnant, their term is until they give birth. That means for the women who have reached menopause, their waiting period is 3 months. And the women who are pregnant, their waiting period is until they give birth. The sentence, and for those who have not menstruated, is used by some to justify marriage of a girl who has not reached puberty, which is very wrong. We have just concluded from the ayats of the Quran that certain conditions are to be fulfilled before marriage. Therefore, the marriageable age may range from 18 to 24 years. Now let's go further to understand the part of the ayat which says, and for those who have not menstruated. One thing we should understand is that the Quran is not only for the Arabs, it is for everybody. There may be child marriage in some parts of the world. When they start practicing Islam, and if such relationship existed, then the following procedure for divorce shall be followed. Waiting period is 3 months and for those who have not menstruated. Case 1. Due to medical reasons. We know that some women may not menstruate on time. Their waiting period at the time of divorce will be 3 months. Case 2. Due to marriage before puberty at the time of ignorance, that is, not knowing the Quranic laws. There may be a situation where a girl is married before puberty. and at the time of her divorce, the waiting period will be 3 months. However, one should know that Quran Surah number 65, ayat number 4 does not legalize marriage of a immature individual. However, one should know that if the marriage is not consummated, that is, if husband and wife have not cohabited, then there is no waiting period. The ayat says, make provision for them and release them in an honorable way. Finally, according to Quran, marriage is only possible when an individual is mentally and physically mature and able to take up the responsibilities of a married life. Thank you.